So, what I do here is I purchase some assets off of Etsy. And those assets can be used to put on physical products for you to sell. So what I'm going to do here now is show you how I put the images together in Procreate so I can sublimate them onto my phone cases. Okay, let me go ahead and pick up my little Apple Pencil here. So what you want to do is you click the plus sign, and we're going to start a new portrait, a new canvas here. And we're going to click screen size. And what I do is I click over here because I need to bring the image in onto my canvas. So I click add, insert photo, and this is the photo that I'd like to insert, the little cauldron. So now that the little cauldron is in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the eyedropper tool and to add a little color and a little design in the background. But I'm going to pull the colors from the image in order to do so. So, I'm going to change the size of the image a little bit so it's not as big. And I'm going to center it. So you see that yellow line, it tells you that it's in the middle. And then, after I center it, just so you know, it creates its own layer for the image. So I'm going to create another layer, and I'm going to take that layer, and I'm going to put it below that layer of the image. And then I'm going to select the eyedropper tool to select the color. So I essentially want my entire background for the image to be purple like the cauldron. So, I'm going to pull the color. Sorry, it didn't want to pull the brush. I'm going to pull the color. So I was able to pull the color, as you can see. I pulled the color, and I centered the image because I like to have my images not in the exact center, but a little close to the bottom, but not too close to the bottom. And I don't want the image to be too big, because when it's too big, it's kind of hard for me to align when I try to sublimate it onto the phone cases. So now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add a little bit of decorations. I'm going to add a few flowers for decorations. So, I'm going to go here. And then I have some flowers in here somewhere. I gotta find them. No, the flowers aren't here, bows. Social media icons. Where are my flowers? Oh no, where are my flowers? My flowers are around here somewhere. Oh no! There they are. All right, so those are my flowers. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color to pink. And after I change the color to pink, I'm going to decorate it with the flowers. Okay, so this is the finished product for my image for my phone case. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to airdrop it onto my computer. And after I airdrop it onto my computer, I'm going to print it out. And then we're going to get my machine started so that we can get it onto the phone case. And I typically use Pages in order to print out my images, because Pages, for some reason with my printer, it moves a lot faster. So let's go ahead and airdrop. So we're gonna click the wrench here, share, PNG, and we're gonna airdrop it. All right, so I'm gonna explain a little bit of what goes on here. So right now, I have my image on Pages, and I completely centered the image. And Pages has a feature where it'll show you 2 yellow lines when you have it perfectly in the center and perfectly aligned horizontally and vertically. So what I typically do is, depending on the size of the phone case, I adjust the size of the image. So right now, I'm going to be sublimating it to a iPhone 13 phone case. So the image, when it prints out, is going to be 4:7. So remember, it's extremely important to make the image a little bit larger than what the iPhone will be, because it's 3D sublimation. So it's going to go on the sides as well, so you have to factor that in. So let's go ahead and print. So I have a very special paper that I use in my printer, and inside of the heat press machine, the paper is actually going to kind of melt around the phone case. So just so you're aware, I adjust my settings for the page setup for my paper, for my sublimation, to be the exact size of the paper that I'm using in the printer, so that the image will be perfectly in the center. Please keep in mind that Pages has options, and even with Windows computers, they have options for you to have custom paper sizes. So I'm using a custom paper size for when I print out this image. It's not the normal 8:11 paper size. All right, so let's go ahead and print. All right, so now that our image is printed, we're going to go ahead and turn on our heat machine. So this is our heat machine, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. It has to heat up for a bit, and then I'm going to kind of explain what goes inside of the heat machine is a mold for the size of whatever phone that you're using, whether it's Samsung, Google, iPhone, and you put the case on the mold, you put it in the machine, and then after that, you put the paper up there of the printed image, and then you turn the machine on, and it'll put the image onto the phone case. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the machine on now. And it's going to take the machine some time to heat up, so one moment. All right, so once the machine gets heated up, it heats up to about 130 degrees. We can now take our image that we have and make our phone case. So let me open this up here. So inside, you're going to see a little silver thing. The little silver thing is the mold that we put the phone case in. So let me show you the phone cases. The phone cases I sell are 2-in-1 cases. So, this right here is the little rubber piece that goes around the phone. And this here is what I put inside of the machine. So I'm going to put this in the machine. And once I make sure that that's secure in there, I'm going to put the image on top of it. Now, one quick tip, you're going to have to kind of adjust the image or the picture that we printed out on top of the case to make sure it gets up there right. And another tip, the lighter the colors, the easier it kind of is to see how it's going to adjust on top of the case. So I'm going to go ahead and put the image on the top, and we're going to go ahead and start this process. So as you can see, I have my image on the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close my machine, turn the machine on. It's going to take about 300 seconds, and then I'm going to show you the finished product. All right, now that it's done, we can open it out. Now, I will say this, you will need some gloves to take it out because it's gonna be hot. And then after you take it out, you let it sit for a bit and cool down. And as you can see, the plastic somewhat melted around the phone case. So don't forget, do this with gloves. So 1 second, I'm gonna take it out for you. So this is the finished product, and I'm going to explain what you're seeing here. This is the MagSafe component that goes into the back of this for the magnetic charging. And of course, if you have a phone holder, you can put it in a magnetic phone holder. And this right here is just the case portion that protects the phone, but the design is here. But we are all done. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe.